Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming to the October 7th POPS meeting via Zoom this time. And I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Albert Chow. I'm the president of People of Parkside Sunset, this wonderful organization that I am honored to sit on the chair of. I'd like to just go through a round of introductions. I'm just going to call out one person and then that person can call out the next. Margaret, can you introduce yourself?
Okay. Hi, I'm Margaret Graff, and my organization is Senior Power here in District 4. Les. Oh,
You're muted.
Okay. I'm Les Ong. I'm an internet marketing consultant and treasurer of POPS. Paula.
I'm Paula Katz. I am on the POPS executive board. I started with Save Our Taraval stops, and I understand they're going to start the second segment. I got an email today. They're going to start the second segment of the Taraval in early 2022. Oh, sorry, Agustina.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Agustina, and I'm with San Francisco Department of the Environment. And I'm going to pass it on to Kelly.
Good evening. My name is Kelly Garrity. I am also with the San Francisco Department of the Environment, and I will pass it off to Jessica.
Thank you, Kelly. Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica. I'm on the board of POPS and also represent Northeast Medical Services. Doug.
How's it going? Doug Marshke, owner of Underdogs 2. And I will pass it to... Did Robert go?
No, Robert's here. Hi.
Awesome.
Okay. Hi, Doug. I'm Robert, and I'm secretary for POPS. And I'll pass this over to Howard. Howard?
Hi, I'm Howard. I'm the assistant administrator. I'll pass on to whoever else next because I can't see anybody else on my phone.
I'll do that for you. Lori Recology. I hope I said that right.
Yeah, you did. Hi, everyone. My name's Lori, and I am with the Department of the Environment.
And lastly, I think it's Eileen.
I'm Eileen Boken. I'm the president of Sunset Parkside Education and Action Committee, also known as SPEAK. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all for coming. And I really want to say thank you for the Department of the Environment, San Francisco's Department of the Environment, for coming today to enlighten us on how we can save our world and how we can all do our little part to make it better. So without further ado, I want to just pass it on to you three ladies. Thank you.
Thank you, Albert. That was such a sweet intro. I'm going to share my screen right now. So let me know if you can see it.
Yep.
Yeah, so can everyone see my screen well? I'm trying to adjust.
Now looks great, Agustina.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, I just want to thank everyone for joining us today. I'm really happy everyone's here to learn more about San Francisco's Zero Waste Program. Like I said, I'm Agustina, and I'm here with my colleagues Kelly and Lori. And I want to thank you, Albert, for setting everything up for us to present here. This presentation will take around 20 to 25 minutes, and we'll have some time at the end for questions. So I'm going to pass it on to Lori, who will get us started.
Thanks, Agustina. It's really good to be back. Thank you for inviting us back. I know we presented for you back in 2018. And of course, a lot has changed since then, not just because of the pandemic, but we're always increasing the types of materials we are adding to our recycling program. So I'm happy to be able to have the opportunity to update you on those things. And so as we mentioned, we are with the Department of the Environment, which is a city agency, and we do outreach on the various programs that support the city's climate action plan. And you see here in this photo with my colleague, the 4 goals of our climate action plan. And today we're going to be focusing on the zero waste goal. And as I mentioned, since a lot has changed because of the pandemic, many of us are working from home and spending more time at home than ever before. And since we're spending so much time at home, we're also cooking a lot more at home. Maybe we're also getting a lot of takeout. I personally don't like cooking that much, so I'll admit I'm getting a lot of takeout. And also, next slide, please. We're getting a lot of deliveries, and so we're just generating more materials at home than ever. And one thing I'm sure we can all agree on is that it can sometimes be confusing and frustrating. Sometimes things change. So our goal today is to update you on those things that have changed and help you sort better, whether it's at home or at your business. And as I mentioned, we're going to be focusing on the City Zero Waste program today in the interest of time. I'm happy to share more about the rest of our climate action plan if anyone is interested at a later time. And if you're not familiar with what this term means, basically it's an aspirational term that means sending nothing to landfill or to incineration. And I just want to tell you quickly a little bit about why this is so important. So adopting zero waste policies can help us reduce the amount of single-use plastics and other single-use items, like you see here, from ending up in our streets, in our beaches, and in our waterways. Zero waste policies can also help us reduce resource extraction by instead recycling and reusing what we already have. And finally, zero waste policies can help us protect the health of our communities by ensuring that we're properly containing and safely disposing of hazardous materials. And currently in San Francisco, we're sending over 600 tons of landfill every single day. What you see here is all of the waste or materials that are being placed into the black bin. They're put here in this pit and they're not sorted, unfortunately. And they're trucked away 60 miles to the nearest landfill, which can get very expensive. And also, sadly, more than half of what you saw there are materials that could have been recovered, either composted or recycled. So we really need to be better at the bin. We really need to be better at sorting, but that's just not enough to help us get to that zero waste goal. To really move the needle, we have to take one bigger action that is actually, while it's the most impactful, it's actually the simplest, and that's to try not to create this waste in the first place. And we can do that through reducing things that we consume, or reusing, buying reusables like reusable water bottles instead of single-use water bottles, bringing our bags to the grocery store, buying used items for our homes, clothes, furniture. And then, of course, recycling and composting will help us get there. So here in San Francisco, we have a 3-stream system. And so that means we sort our materials into 3 different containers. The biggest is the recycle bin here in blue, which takes the majority of our materials here in San Francisco. The green is for compost, and the smallest black one is for landfill. And if you don't live in a single family home with those carts, and instead you live in a multifamily building where you have large containers or chutes, look out for these posters that are also in the same color. So blue for recycling, green for compost, and black for landfill. So I'm gonna pass it over to Agustina to tell us what goes where.
Thanks, Lori. Yeah, so San Francisco actually has a single stream recycle system. So that means that we can place all recyclable materials into one bin, and it makes it easy and convenient for us to recycle. So what goes in the blue bin? As you may know, all types of cartons are accepted, things like paper cartons, also accepted containers, but just make sure that they're completely empty before placing them in the blue bin. Clean and dry paper is still accepted, but if you do have shredded paper, make sure that you bag it and you label it as well. And as you may be aware, to reduce your paper waste, you can also opt to go paperless and easily unsubscribe to stop receiving all that junk mail. Don't forget to break down your boxes to maximize space in your bin, and it'll also avoid items spilling out into the street and becoming litter. So that's what you can do if you want to recycle cardboard boxes. And then you can also recycle all types of plastic, rigid plastics mostly, like drink bottles, cups, and also plastic food containers like clamshells. Clean and empty glass containers can also be recycled, and it's okay if you leave the lids or the caps on, and you can also place all broken bottles or jars in the blue bin as well. And finally, metal cans and foil, as long as they're clean and empty, you can recycle them. And if you do have some aluminum products like aluminum foil, try to scrape as much food as you can from the aluminum foil. It actually can be recycled. You just need to ball that up so that it can get captured by the magnets at the recycling facility. And the reason why it's so important to remove all the liquids and foods from our recyclables before we put them in the blue bin is because we don't want to contaminate the rest of the items in the bin, especially the cardboard and paper, which is not recyclable when it's dirty or wet. So that's what we want to do. And now I'm going to pass it back to Lori to explain a little bit about composting.
Thanks. So composting is basically nature's way of recycling. And so when we have organic material, like say these carrot tops are left over from your dinner, we put them in the green cart and then it gets sent off to the compost facility. And in 30 to 60 days, Mother Nature gives us this beautiful nutrient-rich soil additive that we then use to grow the food we eat. And this not only helps our crops be more nutrient dense, it also helps retain more water and use less water. But most importantly, compost takes that carbon that we released into the atmosphere and captures it and puts it back into the ground where it belongs. So by simply composting at home, you are helping fight climate change. Here's the finished product that some farmers lovingly call black gold. You might notice some little sparkles there, and no, that's not bedazzled compost. Those are actually glass pieces. So it's really important that we don't contaminate the compost. So no glass and no plastic in the green bin, only organic materials. And we'll talk about which ones specifically. And if you're not sure what can be composted, we have this great saying that can help you remember at the department. We like to say, if it was once alive, you can compost it. So let's talk about what is compostable in San Francisco. All food scraps, shells, bones, peels, your neighbor's funky meatloaf, all of it. Yard trimmings, so dead flowers, untreated wood. If you're a coffee or tea drinker and your tea bags are made out of paper, not plastic, you can compost those, as well as the wrapper, the coffee filter, and the coffee grounds. And all dirty paper and used food containers can be composted. So that includes things like pizza boxes, paper plates, napkins and paper towels, wooden chopsticks. And lastly, while I earlier mentioned that we shouldn't put any glass or plastic in the compost, there is one exception, and that is for compostable plastic. And this is plastic that's made of vegetable fibers. And sometimes it can look like conventional plastic. So before you put it into the green bin, just make sure it is a compostable plastic by looking for either a label that says 100% compostable or you could look for that BPI logo that you see there next to the bag. So now we're going to play a compost video that the department made. Can you turn it up, Agustina?
All right, so moving on to what goes in the landfill in San Francisco. We place items that we have no solutions for in the landfill, but you know, the landfill is not a practical solution itself. It occupies space, it produces tons of greenhouse gas emissions, and it also contaminates the surrounding water and land. So we are trying to send as little as possible to the landfill, and landfill items may include things like different types of packaging, usually shiny food wrappers, condiments, and also styrofoam. Things like COVID-19 items also cannot go in the compost or in the recycling bin, so they have to go in the landfill. But just remember not to flush any of these items on the toilet, as you may already know, it can damage plumbing systems. And other landfill items also include items that may have animal or human waste, as well as disposable items like razors and toothpaste tubes. Some household items go in the landfill as well, things like broken ceramics and mixed material items like pens and sponges, but also broken drinking glass. And this is sadly because normally we can't recycle glass, but broken drinking glass cannot be recycled because the material is made with tempered glass, and that cannot be melted, recycled with other types of glasses. So unfortunately, it goes in the landfill. But there are a number of items that don't belong in any of the bins. One of those items are batteries, but here in San Francisco, you can recycle batteries either by placing them on top of the landfill bin in a clear bag, if you live in a single family house, or into an orange battery bucket for multifamily dwellings. So anyone who would like a battery bucket can call Recology to request one. This is a free service, and anyone can call to have it picked up when it's full. Now, it's important to remember that if you do want to recycle lithium-ion batteries or rechargeable batteries, you put a piece of tape at the ends of those, because these batteries still hold a small charge and it can potentially spark a fire. There's also things that don't go in the landfill or any of the bins, and that includes household hazardous waste. These things need to be disposed of properly. Some examples include paint, motor oil, chemicals, and medicine. And if you do have unwanted or expired medicine, you can actually bring it to a safe medicine disposal kiosk that is located at select pharmacies and also at all stations around the city. You may already know this, but you are entitled to a free bulky item pickup from Recology. So this includes things like broken furniture, electronics, and also that household hazardous waste that I was talking about earlier. So in order to get this, you can call Recology to schedule, or you can also visit their website and schedule your free pickup online. I know that we just mentioned a lot of things, so if you don't remember or you come up with a question later and you're not sure what goes in what bin, you can always visit our website, sfrecycles.org, that can help you figure out what goes where. And to get you started on easy and proper sorting at home, we recommend that you start by setting like separate bins for each waste stream. So you can use things that you may already have, like buckets or bags. And you can also request a free compost pail from Recology to pull out all of your compost. So we just wanted to remember to refuse what you don't need and reuse what you already have. So now I'm gonna pass it on to Kelly, and she's gonna share a little bit more about commercial zero waste.
Thank you, Augustina. Just to double check in, how much time do we have left? I just want to be mindful of everyone's time here today.
There's like around 10 minutes.
Okay.
We're
great.
okay. We're okay. We're okay.
Okay. Well, hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Kelly Garrity. I am the Commercial Zero Waste Assistant Coordinator at San Francisco's Department of the Environment. So today I'm going to be going over just some of our local ordinances and then tell you about a couple campaigns and projects that we have going on right now. So some of you might be aware of these. So San Francisco has been banning plastic bags since 2007. Since then, the ordinance has expanded and changed over time. It actually changed last summer in July of 2020. We raised the charge on bags, which was previously 10 cents to 25 cents to incentivize customers to bring their own bags. And I guess it's technically a form of punishment if you don't bring your own bags. And this is also included for takeout and delivery bags as well. So, you know, the bag that you see on the left there next to the Sprite bottle, that's one of those really old flimsy bags. Those are the ones that we banned. Unfortunately, we weren't able to ban all plastic bags. So we were able to require reusable plastic bags that have a 125 reuses is what it's known as. And then we have paper bags, which are also acceptable. They need to be recycled content. And then we have reusable bags, which are when customers bring in their own or they purchase reusable bags at the store. Next slide. So the second component of this that's a change you might not be aware of is we banned plastic pre-checkout bags, also known as produce bags. So any bags that are provided to you before checkout for things like produce, meat, nuts, fish, baked goods, those are all now required to be either recycled paper content or compostable plastic bags. And so as you can see here on the left is the plastic bag that we no longer allow, the paper bag we allow, the compostable bag we allow, and then the reusable bag on the right. And there is no charge for pre-checkout bags or produce bags. It is only that they are no longer, stores are no longer allowed to offer plastic bags. Next slide. Another ordinance that we passed in July of 2019 is called the Plastic Toxics and Litter Reduction Ordinance. Most of you probably know this as the big news of the straw ban. So the goal of this ordinance was to reduce unnecessary, or not reduce, eliminate unnecessary plastic waste. So part of this ordinance was banning small plastic items like beverage plugs, cocktail sticks, stirrers, and toothpicks. We restricted the use of plastic straws to only be available to individuals with disabilities. And as you are aware, or some of you might be aware, we are now only allowing straws or paper straws or straws made of natural fiber. Some of you may have seen some compostable plastic straws that were around for a while. Those are really problematic because they aren't labeled with compost anywhere on them. So when they got to the compost facility, it was really confusing for those who were sorting there, and you couldn't tell what was plastic and what was compostable. So that's why those were also no longer allowed in the city. Next slide. So I'm sure, just like all of you experience, you get some unnecessary items in your takeout from time to time, whether this be sauce packets or forks and spoons. And I'm sure you have a full drawer of them at home, just like most of us do. So part of the Plastic Toxics and Litter Reduction Ordinance was to only provide customers with specific single-use food and beverage accessories like napkins, utensils, sauce packets, when customers requested them. So you couldn't just give them to them. it needed to be requested. And this was also, it's not only for dine-in, but also for takeout, delivery, and also third-party delivery apps like Uber Eats and DoorDash. Quick note on that, what's really exciting is this past week that this upon request only was actually adopted by the whole state of California. So Governor Newsom signed that bill into law this week. So it's cool to how you, create a law or an ordinance here in San Francisco, and then it gets adopted by the state, and who knows, hopefully one day, maybe by the whole nation, which would be great. Next slide. The last part of this ordinance was requiring that any food service business who uses compostable foodware must ensure that it's certified by the Biodegradable Product Institute, also known as BPI. They are a third-party certification that ensures that products, compostable foodware products, actually break down into the compost at its end of life cycle. Another thing that the BPI certification does is it ensures that there's no harmful chemicals, which some of you may have heard called PFAS. It's been circulating a lot in the news. Those harmful chemicals were in some compostable foodware, and this third-party certification test to make sure those harmful chemicals aren't going back into our soil and then into our food. So they're a great organization. And so that is the last bit of our ordinances that I'm going to touch on. And now I'm going to touch on some projects and campaigns that we have going on this month and throughout the year that you might be interested in. Throughout the pandemic, we noticed a very large uptake in plastic and compostable foodware due to safety concerns around surface transmission of COVID-19. Due to this, there's been a lot of scientific research that has come out that surface transmission is essentially null. So there's been papers, articles, all kinds of things, and it's very, very rare that any cases have come up from surface transmission. So we are working with Golden Gate Restaurant Association and a nonprofit organization called Upstream. And we are going to be launching an outreach campaign to educate food service businesses on the safety of reusables, as well as the environmental and financial benefits of reusable foodware. We want to help businesses understand that they are safe. This can really help them on their bottom line financially, and also helps with the immediate community that they serve, meaning there will be less litter in our streets, in our communities, and our waterways. So the main event for this campaign is a live stream event featuring panelists in the food service industry who have firsthand experience switching to reusables for on-site dining, using third-party dishwashing services, as well as using reusable to-go-ware. I don't know if any of you have heard of Dispatch Goods, but they are one of the businesses that are doing reusable to-go-ware. So anyway, this event is happening on October 28th at 2:30 p.m. and I'm happy to provide the link in the chat after this if any of you are interested or sharing out with your networks. So this event we are going, oh sorry, can you go back just a second? Thank you. This event we're going to be recording, and after we record it, we are going to translate it into Chinese and Spanish to be shared out with our wider networks and communities. And we are also going to be putting together an educational pamphlet with resources and services about reusable foodware that any food service business can access at any time. And that will also be translated into both Chinese and Spanish. And lastly, we are timing this live stream campaign to coincide with a really awesome project that Agustina and Lori are both actually working on. And this is called the Rethink Disposables Citywide Technical Assistance Project. So throughout the entire year, we are going to be going door to door to businesses throughout the city. And we are going to be doing outreach in English, Spanish, Chinese, Cantonese, Mandarin, and Vietnamese. And the goal of this campaign is to offer food service businesses technical assistance for switching from disposable single-use foodware to reusable foodware. So this could be, switching out everything, meaning utensils, plates, forks, bowls, or, if there's a business that we come across that just needs reusable sauce cups or condiment cups or straws. We are providing that assistance. And so our goal is to assist 55 businesses in switching over to complete or partial reusable foodware. Not only are we providing technical assistance by helping businesses figure out the proper products based upon size, material, color, and quantity to purchase, but we are also providing financial assistance of up to $300 mini grants. And we are also doubling those incentives for businesses that are Black owned, minority owned, women owned, or LGBTQ plus owned. So we will be providing some financial assistance there as well. And lastly, I didn't make a slide on this, but if any of you are incredibly passionate about the environment and just want to be a good advocate for your neighborhood, your business, your community, we, in partnership with Recology, have what is called a Zero Waste Champions program. And so through that, you meet other people in your community, and this is for residents and for commercial businesses. So you can meet other people in your community that care about these topics. You can get updated on, new environmental news or new things happening in the city. And it's just a great way to network and then, be an advocate for your community and spread the word to other businesses or other residents nearby. So just wanted to offer that information as well, if any of you feel like you want to be a zero waste champion. And that is the end of my presentation. So thank you so much. I know it is a late evening, but I hope you found some of this useful and interesting.
Thank you. That was very good. I'm just going to put it out for anybody. Okay, first I'm just going to maybe grab back the hosting. There we go. Okay, thank you. And I want to ask, does anybody have any questions?
Yes, can I ask a question? So do you guys go out to events to provide information to community events?
Yeah, we do. We were at there was a festival last week. I'm forgetting the name now, but we were there tabling. We just began doing that because during the pandemic we weren't able to, so we were providing mostly zero waste.
Sorry, Agustina, can you speak up a little bit? Your volume is a little bit low.
Yeah. Can you hear me better now?
A little bit better.
Okay. Yeah, so I was saying that we just began going out into the community. Since the pandemic, we weren't able to, but we did go to one of the community events last weekend. I can't remember the name now.
Harvest Moon.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll be at Phoenix Day, street days or Sunday streets. We will be at what's a family day coming up. I think I got the name, but yes, we will be attending lots of events throughout the city.
They're also going to be at Senior Powers meeting next Thursday at the police station at 1 o'clock.
That's right. And I think we were just at the Sunset Mercantile as well.
Yeah, that one.
Awesome. That's our star local event. I do. Well, I'm sorry, Barry, you had a question there.
So I'm very sorry to miss most of your presentation. And actually, I walked by your booth at the Sunset Community Festival. Thank you for being out there. I chair the Conservation Committee for this local Sierra Club group here in San Francisco. And reducing this kind of waste from our restaurants, et cetera, has been a very important item for us, for our consideration. So thank you so much. I am wondering if I might be able to obtain a couple of the screenshots that you have that I might be able to share with our Conservation Committee members at our next meeting. So
We can do even better. We can present for your group possibly.
great. If it, we don't have 25 minutes to be able to, or 30 minutes to give you. I try to keep my agendas very compact, and there's a number of issues that, and so we can talk offline.
You bet. We'll be sharing all of the links we provided in the chat with Albert. And if you have any other questions, feel free to send them to Albert and he can share them with us. And we'll be sharing all those resources and our contact information so he can share it out.
Thank you so much.
I have a question relating to my particular industry as well. I'm in construction, and there still hasn't been like a real clear path with regards to pressure treated or treated waste wood, how the proper disposal is supposed to be. And I know you're supposed to take it to certain sites, but they're requesting like a manifest or something like that. I'm just confused. And since you guys work with Recology, maybe you guys have an answer.
I can jump in here and tell you that we probably, us here as individuals that are here don't have an answer. We do have a construction and demolition team that I'm happy to put you in touch with. They're working on definitely advocating for more avenues for treated wood. I know that's been a huge issue that's come up over the last several months. And they're working on several other construction and demolition projects and ordinances. So I'd be happy to put you in touch with the right person who can help you answer that question, since I personally can't.
That would be, there's a lot of people in my boat that are just.
Yeah, if you could just put your email in the chat here, I'd be happy to direct you to the right person.
All right, I will do that.
And 2 quick questions. If wood's been painted or stained, is that what's considered treated wood and can't go in the compost bin?
Yes, that is correct.
But if it's plain wood that hasn't been treated, we can put it in.
Yes.
Okay, and then will Recology take used paint? I mean, lots of people have cans half empty that they're not using those colors anymore. I have an old card that says what to do with this stuff and to call you for a free pickup or find a drop-off location. But does Recology take old paint cans?
Yeah, they do. And they actually mix it and to make this like off-white color, and then they donate it to different organizations and schools to use for free. So you should definitely take your paint to them. It goes to a great use and gets recycled.
Okay, and will they take light bulbs? I saw there's one type of bulb no one seems to take. I don't know if it's CFLs or the old ones or LEDs. Will you take all of those?
Great Wall takes them in.
Who does?
Great Wall.
Albert, do you take everything? All 3 types of light bulbs? The old kind?
No, wait. The ones that are hazardous, and correct me if I'm wrong, ladies, but right now we currently take all CFLs and fluorescent tubes. We also take batteries at my hardware store. I don't take paint, but I take batteries and fluorescent tubes.
So you take all light bulbs except the old incandescents?
Incandescent was said earlier in the lecture that you can put it in the waste bin.
Oh, okay. I couldn't keep track.
I think there's, is there any issue with LED bulbs, ladies? SF Environment.
Yeah, those do need to be safely disposed of. You can, obviously you can check with your local hardware store, but it sounds like, Albert, you're the local hardware store.
I am the local hardware store, so I'm seeking a higher power right now.
If that's not your local hardware store, you
No
can.
one's told me anything about it.
Yeah, you can include them in your household hazardous waste pickup. So when you schedule that, you can include those light bulbs with that for Recology. And you can use our sfrecycles.org, which also serves as a search tool to help you find some locations nearest to you if you would like to drop it off on your way to work or something.
Great. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions out there?
One last one. Well,
Barry?
just a comment. I believe the paint store on Taraval at 31st, they take in, if you've got miscellaneous old paints, household stuff. But then also clothes that cannot be donated to Goodwill, they're not usable anymore. We want to keep the cloth out of the landfill. How does that get recycled?
That's a great question. So Recology is no longer accepting cloth or fabric. And so if it's not in, good condition, for donation, you can place them in those kiosks called Recycle for Change. There are these big green kiosks that you might see in parking lots and parking garages throughout the city.
I called them, they said no.
They did?
Yes.
Okay. Then it would go to landfill, unfortunately.
That's really unfortunate.
Yeah,
Wow.
it is.
Why isn't Recology taking them? They used to tell us we could do a bag full and they'd pick it up.
It looks like they don't have a market for that material.
Okay. That's sad to hear, but all right, I have to move the meeting along now, but that was very informative. Thank you. Okay,
Oh,
so
Albert, I have a couple of questions. Should be easy to answer, I think.
Mr. Latecomer, all right, Les.
Public garbage cans, are they recycled at all? It's just whenever they dump those things, just go straight into landfill?
What was the, I'm sorry, I missed.
The public trash cans? The ones that out in the corners all over the place?
Oh, why don't they sort those?
Or are they sorted at all?
They are not.
Okay. What about, there was a policy, I think a year or two ago, they started where they minimized the number of trash cans out on Ocean Beach because they wanted people to take their trash home. Does that policy still exist? Or
I don't know. Would you happen to know more about that, Kelly?
Sorry, can you repeat the question one more time? My apologies.
Oh, I think I remember there was a policy where on Ocean Beach, there used to be garbage cans all over the place. And then for a while there was hardly any because they wanted people to take all their garbage home with them.
So I don't know what is currently happening, but I do know with public trash cans, there's the consistent issue of battling of who has to pay for it, which is typically Parks and Rec. And so sometimes they move around public trash cans to certain areas where it might be more needed, or maybe they lose funding in a certain area and take away some trash cans. So I know that funding is typically a large issue with the public trash cans, as well as if they're being like abused in the wrong kinds of way, like people are continuously putting hazardous things in there, or people are using them improperly, then I know that they kind of sometimes take them away for that reason too. I don't know for this specific case. It's definitely something I could look into if you are more interested in learning more about it. I don't know about it specifically though.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you, Department of the Environment. That was informative, and thanks again for refreshing all our memories of what we're supposed to do to take care of our one planet that we have here. I'm going to
just really quick, Kelly, can you would you mail me a copy? I just sent you my address. I'd like a copy of all those brochures you were showing. I don't have a color printer, and I'd like something. If you could mail that to me, a set.
We don't have any, I don't personally have any printed things. I'm at home, but I could be happy to email those to you if you would like to share me your email with me.
Okay, does anyone have the brochures at home? Because I presume you're going to take them to Senior Power. next week?
We do have some for the Rethink disposable ones, but I'll try to print some for Senior Power.
Okay. Kelly, I'll send you my email.
Great. Thank you, Paula.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the next item, the Storefront Vandalism Relief Grant. Alan Wong from Supervisor Marr's office is so kind enough to join us today and help me out in explaining this. And so anyway, hey Alan, how are you?
Hey there.
Thanks
Happy
for
to
coming in
be
last
here.
minute.
Yeah. So I guess I'll give the quick overview, and then I think Albert, you wanted to show some stuff on the screen too. So yes, so Storefront Vandalism Relief Grants. Well, I guess firstly, I'm Alan Wong. I'm part of the staff team for Supervisor Gordon Marr, who worked on budgeting this money for this program. And so to start off with a story, he was visiting one of the merchants, Footprint actually on Taraval, after they had been burglarized twice in one night. There was somebody that used a blowtorch to break in to steal a whole bunch of items from the store, and then about an hour later, somebody else went inside and took advantage of the situations, walked in and took a whole bunch of other stuff too. So after this incident, the supervisor visited the store and he was talking to Michael, the owner, and in their discussions came out this through these discussions they thought of an idea to create this fund. And through the budgeting process, Supervisor Marr worked to budget $1 million in the city budget so that we could give these grants to small businesses. And it's called the Storefront Vandalism Relief Grant. You qualify if there's been some sort of crime that occurred on your storefront property, such as a burglary or vandalism. And if there are damages to your physical property, then you can qualify for up to $2,000 for expenses. So you need 2 or 3 things to qualify for the grant. So you either need a police report, pictures of the damage, or receipts. After you submit it, they'll get back to you guys pretty quickly. Recently, both I and some of your merchant leaders, such as Robert and Grace, we actually had an event at Footprint to announce the grant along with the mayor and Michael Su, who's the owner of Footprint. During that event, he actually became the first person to get the $2,000 check. So we were excited to launch it in the sunset to show our support to Footprint, and also give them some media coverage and probably some good business over there. So that that's the overview of the grant. If anybody's got any questions, and I know Albert wanted to add some stuff and provide a little bit more detail, so pass it on to Albert.
Okay, well, I went to the website to be a guinea pig to see how. Anybody see this? Everybody see this? Oh, okay. So this is about the 3rd page. This is the main page where you fill out the business part or the damage part. But prior to that, you had to fill out your personal information. And also it asks you how many employees, part-time and full-time, that you have at your business. And then you also need to put in basic information, phone number and so forth, and address of your business. And then they double check your business license to make sure it's valid with the city. Then after that, they do ask you, one of the things that I found that was interesting was that you cannot have a graffiti act or a graffiti damage. That doesn't qualify. And also, if your storefront does not face the street and serve the public in that way. So maybe if you're a store that's, I don't know, up in an office building somewhere, I guess that wouldn't qualify. But if you're a street facing storefront, you do qualify. And then after that, it is, I'm just scrolling down, you know, you can see it's a pretty straightforward type of form. It asks you if you had what type of damage, and you can also make sure you get a police report. If you did not get one, you can still, I think, retroactively call and report the crime, even though it's, you know, way past, and at least get a case number opened up for you. Then it's just a, you know, then you can see the paperwork that you can scan and drop into this form, and you'll be on your way to getting this done. So it was pretty straightforward, and I think it's relatively easy to do. So anyway, I think I like it. They made it fairly streamlined. So as long as you're in a legit business in the city and you have a street-facing storefront, and you did sustain some damage through crime or vandalism, or some vandalism of such, you can get reimbursed for up to $2,000. It's not a whole lot of money, but it might take care of your insurance deductible. Now I'm trying to.
Can you apply for these things multiple times?
Alan, that's an Alan question now.
Yeah, there's a limited number of times you can apply for it. So
in a year?
Yeah, there's like a, let me pull up their, let's see here. So maximum of 2 claims will be accepted per location within the 12-month period.
Okay.
Is this $1 million going pretty fast?
I'm not sure actually, because OED, the Office of Economic and Workforce Development, is one implementing it. You know, we wrote the policy and got them to implement, but you know, in terms of the day-to-day tracking, I don't have as much information on that. But it's been very broadly advertised, so you know, I would submit a application ASAP, because if you think about the numbers, there's $1 million, and if they give $2,000 to each one, or 1,000, or somewhere in between, that's between 500 and 1,000 grants that are available. So apply.
I'm putting in the Vandalism Relief website right now for anyone that's interested, or maybe they have a fellow merchant that knows that had gotten their business hit, and you know, I'll provide this. There you go. Okay, and is there any other questions about that? That was a pretty straightforward and simple program. I'm glad they launched it on Taraval Street. Got to have the mayor and the supervisor go over to Footprint Shoes and make a nice big press release out of that. So I hope Michael did get a little bit of a free advertisement.
Mm-hmm. And so nice to have Pops join us with Robert, and yeah, so nice to have Robert and Grace be a part of it, and Grace gave the final remarks at the event.
And Albert,
good job.
I'm having a bit of difficulty copying stuff out of the chat, where there's resources and links, and anything. Most of it, it's not coming through. I try to copy it and then paste it into a text document, and it's for some reason not working.
I just misspelled OEWD. I just realized. Try that.
Okay, great.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Alan. That was a short segment. I don't know if there's a lot of questions there, but hopefully, if anybody does sustain some damage, they can find a little bit of recovery here to help you out. Okay. So I'll move on to the next subject. I kind of wondered if how many of you have heard about the proposed permanent closures to Golden Gate Park? Yes, no? Okay, so I'm gonna bring this up on my screen again. So about 2 weeks ago, Supervisor Connie Chan of the Richmond District proposed a plan called Beach to the Bay, in which she is hoping to create permanent closures to some parts of the roadways inside Golden Gate Park, so that a person can ride or walk from all the way through from east to west or west to east in Golden Gate Park without traffic impeding them. And so the areas marked in purple are the proposed routes that are to be, can everybody see that screen there? And,
Yes.
yeah, so she put this proposal out, I think about 2 weeks ago, introduced it before the Board of Supervisors. And it's the purple route that you see there that's coming in from mostly John F. Kennedy all the way down to the lower western section of Martin Luther King out to the beach. And so the routes that are in green will still be open to car traffic, and there will still be parking retained along those areas. But the purple route will become permanent, 7 days a week closed to traffic. And I kind of wondered, like, how is that going to, what kind of reaction you guys have to that? Because that will impede a lot of north-south traffic between, let's say, Richmond and the Sunset. So if somebody wants to cross over, as you will maybe experience now, going to 41st Avenue and trying to get through to 43rd is tough. Sometimes it piles up really bad. 19th Avenue has its long-term construction project going on, and it backs up regularly there. And also, 9th Avenue, it looks like you won't be able to pass all the way through at 9th Avenue. You'll end up staying on the south side of Golden Gate Park. You can't get through to the other side. So you'd have to route yourself all the way down to crossover, which is 19th Avenue, to get yourself to the north side of Golden Gate Park. And so those are all, ways that will clog up traffic and possibly impede business or impede deliveries, or maybe even, if it's not business, it's just your personal life, maybe kids going back and forth to different schools, picking people up or running errands. This will be more difficult. So I just wanted to make you aware that this is happening. This is early, early stage in the proposal. There's still some time. I'm not sure how much, but I think maybe by the end of the year. Someone can correct me on that if they know better. But they're open to public comment at this point. And so I would think that if we have serious concerns, we should reach out to our supervisor and possibly to Supervisor Connie Chan with regards to any concerns, because this will affect us and also San Franciscans in general, how they enjoy this park. So anyway.
Albert, does this assume that Great Highway will be closed? Because is that the Great Highway, that purple?
Yes. I think that's independent of what happens in the park. So I think Great Highway is being evaluated right now. But so is basically this proposal is also being evaluated. Is there, I'd be interested to hear what folks in the meeting are thinking about those particular, that purple route that they see there. Barry?
So the Sierra Club is supporting the closure of JFK Drive. A large percentage of the vehicles that drive through the park right now are using the park to drive through rather than actually come and enjoy the park. And so there's a very serious concern, particularly down around where the chain of lakes is. It's meant to be a very naturalistic area where people can go to get away from all the noise of the city. And there's so much vehicle traffic there now that it's really problematic. Yes, it does impact. But the traffic all the way through east to west is less of a problem than the traffic that currently is north-south, and that largely centers on what happens with the Great Highway. And so these really are, I think, two very, very different discussions. There currently is a way for people to get through the park, although I've seen the lines of cars, it's very long. Ultimately, we need a better option for moving people north to south.
I agree. That's one of the problems I see, is that Golden Gate Park is so long that,
right,
it just blocks off, especially the Richmond now, because Richmond is surrounded north and south. North is Presidio and south is Golden Gate Park. So basically you're boxed into east and west, and north and south is quite hard. And already it's very difficult just to get to the freeway. Richmond district in general is, I think, one of the hardest to get to, let's say 101. But the way I see it right now, my personal thought is that there should be some way at 9th Avenue to at least drop people off and maybe get to the other side, let's say to 8th Avenue. Maybe in a controlled way, maybe it's only for pick up and drop off. But I think there should be some access to DeYoung and Cal Academy, because so many people do go there. And there's a lot of tourists that come from out of the city. They don't know about these rules, and they may be renting cars and trying to get here, or driving their own vehicles here. That's a real big thing these days, because people are not going very far. It's kind of like hyper local type of tourism right now. And if they come from the East Bay or the Greater Bay Area, they may not know these rules and restrictions. So that might cause problems with regards to how they get around. One of the considerations that I think is, I find impeding, is the short section of Martin Luther King between 41st Avenue and Sunset Boulevard. Right now, if you go to Sunset Boulevard, you are forced, if you get into the park, you're forced to turn right. There's no way to turn left. And so a lot of people get confused. And also, if you just want to not go to 19th Avenue because that's all stopped up, you can at least divert to the left and go to 43rd, go to 41st and come out at 43rd Avenue. Vice versa, if it's 41st Avenue and you get stuck in that kind of pileup between 41st and 43rd, you can divert to Martin Luther King, which you currently cannot do at this point. So I would like to see if they can open that up and maybe create a path parallel to it that can be accessible just for pedestrians and bicycles. And so that way the two types of traffic will be separated and they don't impede one another. Anyway, I'm curious to hear other people's thoughts. Anybody else having problems or like this idea or don't like this idea?
Albert?
Yes, Paula?
It's hard for me to tell what's what on the map. That's not your fault, but I can't conceptualize exactly where the museum is, but I do think there ought to be access to the museum and the California Academy of Science and be able to cut through there. And people shouldn't just have to take shuttles from a distant location. I like closing as much as we can. And as you know, I like having the Great Highway closed. But I do think there ought to be more access, like you said, mention the museums. I'm not that familiar with 44th to 43rd, that whole area. I do know I got stuck in the park one day. It was hard to get out, but those are things we'll learn. But I'm not opposed to the things you've suggested.
I think that for me, I think overall that route is a viable route for just pedestrians and bicyclists. I think that's fine, but just to tweak that proposal a little bit more so that, you know, both vehicles and people enjoying the park can coexist together. And I understand, Barry, that people do use that park to drive through. And I'll admit, I do too. I've always used it as a detour sometimes when traffic is heavy and I need to get around the city. But that's kind of how the city is right now. We've got slow streets. We've got, you know, a lot of these closures. It forces you to find alternate routes, and when they're all blocked off, it just makes getting around the city very, very hard. And not everybody is riding a bike or able to walk to these places. So sometimes you do need a car to get to those locations and park, because not everybody is perfectly healthy and can, you know, do walking and bicycling. So anyway, those are just my concerns.
Albert, what's the procedure to have input on trying to tweak this?
Alan, are you still there? Alan Wong? I'm checking because I was wondering if he can provide some information on that.
He seemed to be.
So
He's not in the room.
This is a larger project. This is a portion of it. The city is attempting to create a walking and bikeway all the way across the city, so that you're able to walk from the beach all the way down to perhaps the ferry building. And I don't know how they're going to do that. You know, because you got to have cars to be able to go across the way.
You know, Albert, this is Doug.
Yes.
One thing is already affecting me. It's going to just be worse. Like, you know, my restaurant on 9th Avenue.
Yes.
Obviously, we're staying alive by having a lot of delivery. You know, DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub. Whether people like that or not, they don't have a choice. People aren't coming to my restaurant. That's how they're ordering from me. And it has been a struggle to get across to the Richmond. And it's been a lot of really unhappy customers because it takes so long and their food's cold and et cetera, you know. And that 9th Avenue thing for me is pretty important to be able to not have to go all the way across to service that area. So there's a real business thing there that, you know, that impacts me for sure.
No, it's actually good to hear from you, Doug, being on that side of, you know, coming from the inner Sunset in that point of view, because I think a lot of your drivers would have to go over to Stanyon and hop over that way across, and then maybe zip back down or go to 19th Ave.
Yeah.
And I know that Stanyon Avenue also backs up now. So yeah, these are serious considerations. And I do understand, Barry, that this is a larger program that Shimon Walton had talked about, having access for people from the Bayview, being able to come all the way over to enjoy the park, and I'm all for that. But you know, they're gonna drive. You know, I don't think that, you know, there's a whole lot of people that are gonna bicycle all the way over from the Bayview all the way to Golden Gate Park. I think.
Yeah, I have an 85-year-old friend who gave me an earful about this. So because it cuts off access to the park for her. So, yeah.
So I think
you know, this is an immediate issue that we need to be dealing with, and how do we get people around to be able to still lead their lives. But long term, you know, everybody's projecting that the city is going to have more than 1 million people here. We're going to increase by 20%. Great. So we look at the problems we have today, and then we're going to increase that by actually 25%. It'll be a 25% increase. So whatever traffic is now, it'll be 25% worse.
Right.
And I, so I like to look at longer term. I probably won't be alive to see it, but how do we create either tunnels or BART from Richmond to the Daly City BART station? Something to make it convenient for a lot of people to get out of their cars and do something else so that we can have a public park where people can get away from the dangers of vehicles.
Yeah, and I just don't understand why we can't build more bike paths in Golden Gate Park. Like I mean, it's
Right.
never talked about. Like, why
Right.
take all the roads? Like you go to Central Park, you go to Vandalism Park in Amsterdam, all these places, they have beautiful bike paths and walking paths all over the place.
Yes.
And it's amazing, and there's ample space. I don't know. It's just like, it's always boggles me that that's never an option.
Well, let's create it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's why the
Doug,
discussion
you
should
want to
happen.
work together and let's create a proposal.
Okay, so I can invite. I had a discussion with a guy named Ike Kwan, who's one of the people over at Cal Academy, and he works on a panel that talks very much about traffic and tourist circulation, and also local resident circulation in the park and use of its facilities and landmarks. And I can have him in next month if you want to. That he can give us a broader perspective and more data-driven perspective about what is going on.
Right.
If you want to, I can invite him next month.
That'd be excellent. I know Ike. He's a good person.
Yeah, I talked to him. He knows you too.
Yeah.
He winced a little bit, but he knows you.
My liberal politics don't extend as much to this issue. So.
All right, I'm going to unshare the screen now. If anyone does anyone have any objections to that? Everyone has seen the screen map long enough. Okay. Okay, so I think that's one that we should start forming our ideas. Think of your experiences with regards to that park and what it means to you and your family, your business, your friends, so we can formulate an opinion, a position for POPs. And I think that we've always formed very well-balanced compromise positions that serve everybody and also not certain. Everyone, some people win, some people lose, but that's how it goes. But overall, the balance is that, that place will be a more usable space. So I'm very happy what we did with our position on Great Highway. Just to reiterate that was to open it to traffic on weekdays and close it to traffic on weekends. And it turned out a lot of people like that balance. So maybe we can find something like that for Golden Gate Park as well and make our position known. Okay, and then moving on, I'm just going to talk about some POPs business. Results from the Sunset Community Festival. We had a great community festival last Saturday. From what a couple of people that were in charge told me, it was somewhere around 3,500 people showed up. It was a beautiful sunny day, and POPs had a table out there, and I was selling POPs Sunset Strong t-shirts, as you very much like my logo back here. And we also had a prize wheel, and we were giving away just a ton of prizes on this little Wheel of Fortune prize wheel. I think we gave close to 1,000 little prizes away of all sorts. And Howard and Jessica were really on that more than anybody else, and they did such a great job. Eileen was there sitting with me, and we were trying to answer questions about POPs and speak. And Margaret was there to talk about senior power. So I think we got the word out about our organizations. But I think that, and also we also talked to, debuted our brand new Sunset Chinese Cultural District and talked to people about, that organization newly formed. And we did like a soft launch and just to let people know the presence of that organization, as well as we had some banners and posters talking about the contribution of the Asian community to the sunset. So I thought that was really nice. Yes, Eileen? No, Eileen?
No, I'm here.
Okay, no, that was just reporting what we had. And then
I'm
also,
still here.
okay. Moving down the list here, just want to catch up on time because it's getting close to 8:30. Fleet Week is this coming weekend. As you may have heard some really loud planes zipping over the skies today. And so just let you know that if you don't know already, Angie had somehow scored having the Navy's official band popping up to the next farmers market. Actually, it's the Saturday market, October 9th at 1 p.m. Angie, you're there in the flesh.
I
Did you
am.
talk about
It's at
that?
noon. Yeah, it's at noon.
Oh, I'm
We're-
sorry, noon, 12
That's
to.
okay.
Okay.
12 to 1.
12 to
We
1.
are honored to be able to host one of the Fleet Week neighborhood concert series programs. We'll have a brass quintet, Navy brass quintet, and it should be a lot of fun. It'll be a real, neat addition to Secondhand Saturdays. I feel like the more eclectic and unusual, the better, in my opinion. It seems like such a strange match, but not really. It's going to be fun. So hope you can come out and check it out. And then there'll be live music all around that. And then we are having our Secondhand Saturday.
That is great, Angie. May I ask, how did you score the Navy band to get to come to the venue?
We're just kind of lucky to be on the right people's radar. They reached out to us. So Marianne of OEWD just reached out and asked if we wanted one. And I'm like, yeah, of course we do. Of course we do. So yeah, that's how we have them.
Okay. And then Angie, since I have you there, I was just going down my list of local business things. Artscape is coming up the following week over at 37. And did you want to enlighten us about that?
Sure. So this month's Artscape is in collaboration with Artspan, and we're hosting. We're part of the Open Studios. So we have a lot of artists that are popping up. Their little open studio is just popping up at our market. And we're also having we're collaborating with AP Giannini for their Garden Day, which is a little bit of an open house, but the school itself will be encouraging families to come and help out in the garden throughout the day. But we're opening it up between the event and APG Schoolyard, so people can go check out the schoolyard. There'll be some art-related activities in the garden that tie in botanicals. So that'll also be fun. And then all these events have food and music and of course Artscape. The focus is art, but then there are a few other it's a pretty strong focus of art at that one. Oh, and we offer free spaces to young artists 18 and under, and I think we'll have a few of those for that one.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad you showed up and enlightened us on that one. I'm going to interject here. I want to shoehorn one more subject, but it is important to us merchants. And Doug, you had brought this to my attention earlier today with regards to shared spaces and impending regulations that are going to come for these shared spaces that we have now for a lot of our restaurants and other businesses. Doug?
Oh yeah, I'm supposed to talk. Okay.
Well, I just thought to had you there.
Yeah,
You
cool.
send me that
Oh,
email.
dude. Everyone's looking at a
Ben
taco. Sorry.
Blyman.
Sorry, I don't have my video. Sorry, I don't have my video up, but so you guys get to look at a taco. I mean, I guess the short story is that everyone. There was a big, obviously, fight to get the shared spaces permanent. This was really an initiative that was started by the mayor's office because of the emergency directive that happened. And, I guess the devil is in the details. So after it got accepted, and actually Gordon Moore was actually the swing vote on that. Now it kind of gets over to the, I guess the powers that be in in the planning department and MTA and DPW, find your acronym for your city planning department. And they've come out with a lot of regulations that seem to be very political in nature, not necessarily useful or backed by any data. And it really makes it very hard for most of the people who are using shared spaces to actually have a use for these. So, I mean, the list is pretty exhaustive on like some of the issues, but like a few of the big ones, like for example, if you have a restaurant on the corner, like I do at Underdogs 2, I can't have a shared space within 20 feet of the corner, which is pretty far. So for me, that kind of eliminates my whole shared space because now I'm going to my bus stop. If you're sharing a parking space, you have to have 3 feet on each side for a parking space. So parking spots usually 20 feet. So you're chopping off 3 feet on each side. So you're chopping off 6 feet. So now you're down to 12 feet of usable space. So not really that useful. No roofs, of course. So that's kind of the idea, being able to sit outside in our awesome foggy winter. And, no roofs and, providing power for any heating elements or propane or any of those things are pretty much out the door. So, they essentially turn a program, and I get it, a lot of these shared spaces are pretty ugly, so they need to be improved. I understand all that. A lot of them more ADA accessible, that needs to be fixed. A lot of them did have some safety issues, but they've kind of turned the button over to the extreme side where, they basically said, yeah, you can do them. But essentially, I think 90% of places that need them aren't going to find any use with those kind of restrictions. So that's kind of where we're at. And, it's really kind of rolls up to the mayor's office because they control all those departments or control the regulations.
Is that the only avenue for complaining or starting a conversation?
I think we can talk to our supervisors. I don't know what they can do about it, because, while they have some influence, at the end of the day, it really, all those different departments that have control of the specifications, those all report to the mayor's office at the end of the day, so, and there's some fire marshal stuff going on right now. It seems very political. Some of the weird rules around fire and access and all these different things. I mean, it just doesn't seem it went from like the Wild Wild West, which it shouldn't have been, to now like the most rule regulated thing ever. And there doesn't seem to be much middle ground. So I don't know. I mean, it's I've essentially every shared space I have for all my restaurants. It's my one on Fillmore Street, the one on 9th Avenue, and Underdogs 2. I had planned on putting like a lot of money into an awesome shared space that is beautiful, like essentially extension of the building, but it's not going to happen. They're not going to happen any longer for me if I have to adhere to all these things.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll definitely get on the horn with the Council of District Merchants and see.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone has access to the mayor, I mean, honestly, like real access to the mayor's office, like that is where the pressure should happen. Because it is that office. I mean, that's kind of how the shared spaces came from, right? So, I think a lot of people don't really look at the details. Like, oh, everything's passed, but unfortunately, the people running the program are very nice people, but they definitely don't have businesses in mind for what they're doing.
Sean Ellsburn is the best person to contact.
Who's that?
Sean Ellsburn is the gentleman who met with us when we met with the mayor's office.
Got it.
Yeah, that's his cheapest. That's our cheapest staff. I mean, I think Ben Blayman sent some stuff to Albert earlier, right? I think he's also really
for Doug. Yeah.
So
He's a good man.
I know he has an in with the mayor's office. Doug, I'm sorry, I didn't understand if the SF planning department already issued the regulations. Is that what?
Yeah, they're out there. So if you go to I think
Okay.
it's like sfgov/shared-spaces. I think that's the website.
Okay.
It's already out there, not to say it won't. It's a weird process because right now, all of us, we're in this like weird space because everything's approved till December in the temporary, old thing. And then officially January 1 is when we're supposed to, start adhering to these rules. But, there's also another date of June that you can file an extension and not do anything till June. So there is like some time to figure all this out. So most people, but you have to apply in November, so it's like, it's weird. So if you apply and get denied, then you're just kind of stuck. It's just a really weird, it's a weird time.
That is weird. I do think also, I'm surprised not more media attention's been on this.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, there hasn't been enough. And right now, there's the voices. I don't even know, like, it seems like it's very political within City Hall. Like it has nothing to do with residents or commercial businesses. There's a lot of like weird infighting that I don't really understand. Between the SFPD, between DPW, between the MTA, between the planning. Like I don't understand it because it's really just people like standing ground against another department that just causes everyone pain. I don't really get it. I mean, I've been involved in a lot of weird projects. I haven't been involved in something so weird that doesn't seem to have any outside influence. It's odd.
Right.
I mean, if I can make a suggestion, sorry, and I see Angie, you want to say something?
Well, I just want to say I'm running into the same problems. My permit for 37th Avenue is a shared space. While it looks very different than what the restaurants are dealing with, it's this. I'm getting hit with the same totally confusing messages and regulations, hard regulations. And when in fact, I would say that I feel like hopefully this isn't true, but the messages that I'm getting back from shared spaces is that everything that I'm doing is in jeopardy because of the hoops they want me to continuously jump through and to go back and rewrite and have planned out. It's a little different, but yet similar. So I understand because it's many of the same issues where it feels like it's infighting between the different departments. So recently we were supposed to have had all sorts of stuff streamlined by MTA and fire department and all the different entities coming under one roof so that all of these type of things and permitting should be streamlined. Yet it almost feels like there's a power grab going on, or there's an ego. Maybe there are egos that are popping up and departments that are all supposed to be under the mayor are actually little entities to themselves, and they still don't know and understand what's going on in the other departments. Yet shared spaces lays down these very hard rules and are being sticklers on it and putting so much in jeopardy. And I feel like with so much frustration, like Doug, and I feel like one thing is we need to connect with the other big organizations, CDMA, talk to them about what we're feeling. The Golden Gate Restaurant Association. Doug, you're on that board, aren't you?
I'm on the board. Yeah, we've had a few meetings about that. So we're trying. We're trying to put pressure. I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Collectively, we all need to come together and talk to all of us associations and organizations need to come together to lodge a major complaint, I think, with City Hall.
Is there an official
loves what we're doing? Go ahead.
Is there an official name for these policies, these new regulations?
No, it's just on the shared. I don't think there is. There's just a shared spaces. Like if you go on that site, I'm not on my phone. Otherwise, I'd share a link. You'll see there's a guidelines doc. It's a PDF. It's like 40 pages long, and you'll see like there's a drawing in there, and you'll see a drawing that has so many things. Is like, where would you put anything anyway? Like, I'll just give you one quick example. I'm obviously not at Irving on 19th anymore, but I just got notified yesterday because they don't know I'm not there. They said, oh, by the way, we want to let you know that as of next week, you can't have your shared space out there anymore, which I used to have one, right? I'm like, why? I'm like, oh, because you have a yellow curb there. Okay, so there was no like option. I mean, I'm not there, so I just replied like, hey guys, doesn't matter, I'm not there anymore. You can remove the permit. But if I was operating a restaurant, that would be like disaster. You know, so I mean, these are the kind of things that are happening. It's crazy.
Okay, got it.
Doug, is it the one that was published in September? Is it the September 9th version, Shared Spaces Manual?
That sounds right.
It's the ones with like pictures, right?
Yeah, it has pictures on it. They show like a curve. They show 20 feet away from the corner. And
Yeah,
they show.
I put it in the chat.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Angie. I think we should definitely figure out like how we can advocate around this, working with SFCDMA, working with the Golden Gate Restaurant Association. I think, I mean, maybe it sounds like people may be already leading the charge, or do we, you know, maybe we can just connect with them and see what they're looking at doing, or
yeah, we
if
just
not,
need to
we
come
can.
out. We just need to have like a common voice, you know, and you know how it is. You know how it is with merchants. No one cares about the associations until something happens. I mean, we just like, you know, I think individually, yes, as individual, but as a group, the only way we shake any trees is by having a very strong voice in this, because unfortunately it seems to me, and again, I'm not a politician, but it seems to me that this pressure has to come into the mayor, maybe herself or into her chief of staff, and then be pushed down. Doesn't seem like there's any path to push up.
May I make a suggestion?
Yep.
Yeah.
How about an article?
Would love it.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
I think this would make a great story.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it can be shopped to a number of the local papers. 48 Hills, I'm sure they'd be interested. The Examiner. Our local papers.
You got to get the Chronicle.
The Chronicle, yeah, the Chronicle too.
But yeah, and then there's been all this talk about, you know, saving and protecting small businesses.
Yes,
like,
that's right.
We just had a light shine on us for the last year because of all the COVID, you know, shutdowns and so forth, and all the pain and heartache of losing businesses and all the employees that were laid off and all the PPP money that was expended to keep everybody afloat. And now you're just gonna choke it all off again.
Yeah, just because I'm on a corner, right? Just because I'm on a corner, I can't have one. It's like there's a lot of corners in San Francisco, and there's a lot of ways to do that safely without chopping it all off, you know?
Yeah.
Bureaucracy, don't you just love it?
Yep.
Yes.
And just as an aside, this is the argument that the pushback that I've gotten when I've brought it to the bureaucracy, they said, well, you guys don't care about safety. I'm like, whoa, that's not at all what we're saying. So that's what they're hiding behind. You know, a lot of the what's it like the zero thing, the zero death. I don't remember what that is called. That the MPA is doing, but
For
they all
Vision
kind
Zero?
of Vision Zero stuff. And it's like, yes, I'm all for safe. I mean, these things have been around the whole time, and you know, I don't know how many instances there's been. There has been some for sure. And there's definitely ways to make them safer. There's definitely things to increase visibility, but you know, we're not trying to be unsafe. I think that's it.
I mean, maybe Albert, do you want to connect with Ben and see if they have a letter written, and then we can just like try getting a sign on, right, for all the merchant associations and
Definitely.
build
I'm just
that
kind
up.
of wondering, should I put this on the agenda for next month? But then I'm wondering who to
It's
bring
too
in.
late.
This thing is too late. Yeah.
Okay. All right, then our path is to unite and see if we can get a hearing with the mayor.
I think we just need to, like what Barry said, right? Like put it on, get the letter out, send it out. I think that will be enough to start the media coverage.
Okay.
I'm just surprised it hasn't happened already. Maybe it is happening.
I haven't seen anything. I really haven't seen any media coverage, because I think the reason is like literally even on the Golden Gate Restaurant Association, we just all kind of like didn't realize what was going on, because that stuff kind of came out silently. And then just a few days ago is when they sent out messages to everyone that had a shared space. And it's like, it's a big document, you know, so I think people are just starting to digest it now, you know?
Right. Okay.
I would turn some
And I
heads
have,
to say that I'm on the same side as the Golden Gate Restaurant Association.
I know.
I have to say, I was
Yeah.
just going to say, I know that the shared space folks have been scrambling. You know, the people, like you said, Doug, the individual people are good people, but the same like good person that I've been dealing with is pretty much telling me that, well, like for instance, we couldn't just expand our shared space for the Sunset Community Festival. We wanted to just expand one block on Saturday. I had SI's blessing to expand one block for the Sunset Community Festival. Sunset Community Festival formula of we have local small businesses, we have music, we have children's activities. That formula has been the same for all of my shared space events. You know, they look a little different, but the basic formula is there. And yet they're telling me that I needed to have a whole new, like what I'm doing is I'm proposing something completely different than what I've been doing. No, like any of you who've been there, none of these look that different. I mean, essentially the essence is all there. So now even trying to expand to get the Thursdays, to get the To Be Latinos back, to get all these things back, they're making me jump through ridiculous hoops, spending hours and energy and doubting that I'll actually continue to get the permit. So again, I'm sorry, it is ridiculous. And I think we need to, I just needed to say that the shared space folks, I think are working really hard and been under a lot of pressure as well. That's all I wanted to say, sorry.
Okay. All right. Sounds like we need to talk to Ben Blyman and get a POPS letter to support this position to keep the shared spaces open and loosen up some of those regulations that are running contrary to their esprit of saying that small businesses matter and that they want to keep us alive. It sounds like they want to choke us down. Okay, going on a lighter note, volunteers for Christmas tree lighting. I'm filling out the permits right now. We're not going to be doing an event this year just because up until now they've been knocking us down as far as like how many people we can have and so forth. So it was a little bit too much to put together. And now I just found out that October 15th, they're going to allow everything to be opened up to a certain degree again. So, but I'm just not going to change course at this point. So we're just going to do a Christmas tree lighting similar to last year. We're going to do it on our own. So if I have like 3 or 4 people to give me a hand, that would be great. And I'm thinking about doing it like maybe around December 5th to the 8th, somewhere around there. Get it all strung up, and then later on the 10th we turn the thing on. So I saw Peter kind of raise a hand.
Bravo, yes, sir.
Two hands?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Can I volunteer my son?
Yes.
Is that fair?
He'd probably be happy to help. He loves doing stagecraft kind of stuff, so he'd probably be happy to help. And I'll be happy to help as well.
Okay. All right, I'll put you down, Angie. As if you don't have enough to do already.
I should be able to help, Albert.
Okay. All right, Jess. Thank you. I think Howard had mentioned he was going to help out. He's in here still. Oh, Howard's hand is up. Howard?
Yes.
Count you in?
Yes.
All right, wonderful. I think that's a more than enough of a crew. We'll do the same as last year, and we'll just get the lights all strung up and turn the thing on when it comes time. All right, next one.
May I have a box full of ornaments. I used to, when I had a business on 14th Street near near Church and Market, I had an annual tree trimming party for folks in the temporary agency that I operated, and asked people just to bring something to hang on the tree. And before that, I did that in my home because I operated for 10 years out of my home. And people would come over and just, they would donate an ornament. And I got a box, you know, some of it's worthwhile hanging up, and I'd be glad to just donate it to the tree. So if it gets damaged in the rain, hopefully we will get rain. But if it gets stolen or damaged, it's fine. I'd be overjoyed to have it be used again.
Okay, that'd be great. Actually, last year when Jessica and Robert and Wes helped me out on stringing up that tree, a lot of people that were walking by were very happy to see us doing it. You know, just trying to like show that Christmas doesn't die just because COVID's around. So I think I think we can send that same message again this year. Okay, thank you, Barry. We would happily take your donation.
I have a suggestion for the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
It would be great if we cannot make it lopsided this year. We tried our best. I mean, God knows we tried our best, but it is really difficult. We need, that'll be our goal. That'll be our goal.
If we do a serious, real job, it's gonna cost us like $5,000 to get a professional.
No. Just
but
for
if
us.
we do it, we'll do our best.
We'll do our best. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. We usually do not have a Christmas, or we usually don't have a December meeting. We usually have a December Christmas dinner. So I know we're still in COVID and nobody expected us to be here at this point like that, but we are opening up a bit on October 15th. It looks like, numbers with regards to transmission and people getting sick are pretty low. So who knows? It might be actually a doable, safe thing to have a Christmas party. And so I would like you guys to think about which restaurants you might want to go to. I don't have to just send me your thoughts and try to help a local restaurant, of course. And I feel like I think I love Gold Mirror, but we gave a couple dinners over there. I think we need to hand it to some, maybe have it at another venue just to help out another merchant. So just if you guys can do a little bit of thinking about that. Yeah, we can.
Great idea.
Hmm?
Yep. Good idea.
Great idea.
Okay.
Maybe Doug would, I don't know. I'm sure he can't come up and actually promote himself, but
well, I
certainly we ought to consider.
We did one at my place. I'm happy to do it, another one, but you can also look for somewhere else that hasn't had a chance.
Okay. All right. Let's see if I can get some. Yes, Peter.
No, ready to go.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see if you guys can maybe email me some of your suggestions of which restaurant you might like. I mean, usually it's about 15 to 20 people for the dinner, so we have to make sure that the restaurant can accommodate that. All right. Now, lastly, it is coming around the end of the year. I did want to bring it up. We didn't bring it up last year because of COVID, but nomination of officers for 2022. Now, I think right now we currently have an excellent slate of talented officers on our group. Just if you guys, I don't know if anyone is considering to run or anyone considering not to want to do their officer duties anymore. But if you are, we need to consider who will replace you. I hope not. I don't have any thoughts of changing unless someone wants to run against me. And that's fine. I don't plan to be here forever, but right now I'm happy to continue as president.
I mean, we're not going to have a recall election.
It is certainly within the rights of the Pops community to recall me. You can just vote me out. But I do want to put it in your thoughts that it is coming around to the end of the year, and then if some of the officers here, the wonderful officers that have served so well, want to step down, then we need someone to step up. So, but if everyone wants to stay in their particular chairs, I'm just as happy to do that as well.
We are happy to have you willing to serve another year, Albert. We are lucky to have you be willing to serve another year.
Thank you. And the other officers that are here today? Paul, I guess you'd still want to be a board member?
Yeah, I'll be on the executive board. I'm not doing very much, but you might want to check with Grace to see if she's willing to be VP. She's missed most of our meetings, but she's been busy. So
I understand. I will ask her. She was trying to come on board this meeting. I don't know what happened. She flashed on for a second. I tried to admit her, and then she went away just as quick. So I don't know what happened there. Well, let me just get a roll call here. Les. Unmute yourself, Les.
I'm willing to continue, but if someone wants to be treasurer, I won't fight them.
Okay. Robert?
Sure, why not?
Okay, Jessica?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You made me nervous there, Jessica, because your newsletters are so awesome. We're the envy of other merchants.
Amen, 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 amen. One more, amen. It's beautiful. The last one was absolutely fantastic in my opinion. It was great.
Oh, it's a team effort. Thank you, though.
Hey.
So I'll nominate the entire slate.
I guess so. Well, if there's no changes, then I think that we could just carry that forward if there's unless there's a challenge. Angie, you still have your hand up. I don't know if that means you're challenging. Or
No, not at all. I need to take my hand down. Sorry about that.
All right. Okay. Well, with that, I will just ask that you guys consider maybe the restaurant for our Christmas dinner. We'll have it early in December, probably within the first, the first or second week of December. Okay, on a Thursday night. That's how we typically do it. So if there are no other issues or items to be brought forward, I would like to adjourn the meeting.
Cool. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank
Thanks
you,
for all
everybody.
you do there, Albert. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank
Good
you.
night, everyone.
Take
All right.
care, everyone. Good night now. Peace.
Bye.
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 Bye.